Hello guys, welcome to the next session in TestNG series. So in this session we will see about the parallel test execution in the TestNG. So before we move to the practical part, how we perform the parallel test execution in TestNG, let's look at some important points which are very important for the interview point of view. Okay, so first let's see what is the need of parallel test execution in the TestNG or in the automation. Okay, so parallel testing, that means we are running more than one test. Okay, more than one test simultaneously to reduce the overall execution time. Okay, so we are trying to reduce the execution time. That means we will get the automation result as early as possible. That means whatever bugs or issues that we found in the automation, that will be fixed by the developers. Okay, they will get more time to fix it. And also for the manual testers or QA engineers, they will also get more time for performing the retesting. So this parallel test execution will enable us to speed up the development cycle and provide the software faster and helps reduce time and cost. So let us consider a very simple and generic real-time scenario. So most of the company are following the agile process for software development, right? So by following this agile process, we are trying to develop the software, test it, and deliver the software to the client as early as possible. Okay, and by this we need to maintain the quality as well. Okay, so we need to provide the software which is working and having less issues. Okay, so we need to speed up this SDLC process. So automation testing plays a very important role in this process. So in agile process, we develop the software in the different sprint. Okay, we get some few requirements as per their priority from the client, and we develop those features in that sprint. And those features will be developed, tested, and delivered to the client in that sprint only. Okay, so let's say in a month, I have two sprint. Okay, in a month of 30 days, let's say on 15 days apart, I perform the production deployment. Okay, so I will have two sprint with 15 days duration. So I got 15 days for each sprint. So in that sprint, let's say we took some features as per the priority, and developer will start developing those features. Okay, they will start writing the code. So each day in the sprint, let's say on the Monday they develop some feature, okay, or they fix some issues in the previous release, and they will check out their code in their own branch. Okay, so let's say they have committed some changes or bug fixes or new features in their branch. So each developer will commit their changes in their own branch. Okay, so let's say we are using the Dockers for testing, for developing. So they can deploy their build. Okay, they can create this build out of their own branch, and they can deploy on the Docker containers. Okay, and so after performing the testing, at the end of the day, what they will do is they will merge all these branches. Okay, they will merge all their own branches into the develop branch. Okay, so this develop branch is the common branch in which all the developer will commit their own changes. Okay, own code changes for the features or for bug fixes. Okay, so at the end of the day, let's say at 6 or 7 p.m. they will create and commit all the changes, their own changes in this develop branch. Okay, so now this develop branch has to be tested. Okay, we need to perform some testing on this develop branch. So what we have to do is we need to first create the build out of this develop branch, right? So we will create the build using a Maven tool. Okay, let's say so we created the build using this develop branch, and we will deploy that build to the QA server. Okay, so as it is end of the day, manual tester will not going to perform any testing on that QA server. Okay, so in this process automation plays important role. So now what we have to do is we need to perform the regression by using the automation test cases. Okay, so in the QA we need to help manual QA so that they can concentrate on the feature testing only. Okay, so whatever regression we need to do has to be done to the by the automation test. Okay, that's why we create the automation test cases. Okay, so that manual QA can perform, or they will get more time for testing the feature or any bug fixes. Okay, so whatever features which are working fine, okay, which are already working fine, they should not be affected by the changes of this commits from the developers in the develop branch. Okay, and that we need to certify on the QA server. Okay, so that we will do by using the, let's say, 1000 automation test cases. Okay, so in my project, let's say I have 1000 automation test cases that is going to perform the overall regression on the QA server with the latest develop branch changes, right? So let's say I started my automation from the Jenkins scheduler at the 12. Okay, we got the server, and by using the different automation machines on the AWS cloud or your office machines, you started the automation on the different machines from the Jenkins schedulers, okay, at the 12. Okay, so let's say on to perform the full regression, when we start at 12, it takes around 10 hours. Okay, so if you are running the test sequentially one after another, it is taking 10 hours. Okay, and if we need to perform the sanity, let's say it is taking 30 minutes. Okay, if you run in the sequential manner. So let's say in the sanity suite, in the automation sanity suite, we have 30 test cases to perform the sanity. So let's say developer one performed some code changes, bug fixes, and he committed his code changes in his own Git branch. Okay, so that branch he deploy on the Docker container, and now he want to see if sanity is working fine or not. Okay, so they can quickly run this sanity suite on their Docker container itself. Okay, they don't require manual tester to perform the manual testing with that branch. Okay, they can have their own Jenkins job, and they can trigger the sanity automation on itself. Okay, and that will give them result in 30 minutes. So now this 30 minutes is quite big time for any developer. Okay, he need to wait 30 minutes to get the sanity result. If you are running sanity test cases in sequential, it is going to take the 30 minutes, so that is going to take much time. Okay, so in a day, developer will commit lots of changes, and they can deploy multiple times in a day. Okay, so they will have to run the sanity suite multiple times in a single day. Okay, so what we have to do is, by using some mechanism, we need to reduce this 30 minutes to around 10 or 5 minutes. Okay, we need to give them result of the sanity suite as early as possible, so that they can fix any issues. So we need to work on this unnecessary waste of time just getting the automation result. Okay, so that we can do by using the parallel mechanism. Okay, so if we have 30 test cases, and if I am running in the parallel mechanism, let's say I running 3 test cases at the same time. Okay, so that means this 30 minutes time will be reduced to the 10 minutes. Okay, and that is very good. Okay, if I am reducing my 30 minutes time to the 10 minutes, and developer is getting the automation result in the 10 minutes, then that is very good, right? So in a parallel execution, what we'll do in a 1000 automation test cases, we have, if we run 2 test cases, okay, at least 2 test cases if we run in a parallel, then whatever 10 hours it is taking sequential, that will be reduced to the 5 hours, right? And that is only I am running only 2 test cases in a parallel. So if you are using a cloud infrastructure, you can run more test cases in parallel as well. Not only 2, you can run 3, 4, 5 test cases in a parallel on different machine, on different Docker container nodes. Okay, if you are using the Selenium grid in the Docker, then you can use the different nodes, okay, different machine to run the test cases in parallel. So this execution time, okay, which is taking more than 10 hours in sequentially, we can reduce to 3 to 5 hours, okay, by running the test cases in a parallel mode. Okay, so in a real-time project, automation test cases are created to perform the regression. Okay, so regression should always be done through the automation test cases only. So we need to think about how we can get the automation test result as early as possible. So TestNG is already a robust testing framework. Okay, so we already seen the important features of the TestNG in the previous sessions. So this parallel test execution is one of that useful feature from the TestNG. Okay, so by using this feature, we can run the test cases in a parallel mode. So that's what we are going to see now. So there are different ways by which we can run the test cases in parallel in TestNG. So first one is using the parallel attribute. Okay, so in TestNG we will have TestNG XML file. Okay, this is the configuration file where we can mention our different test cases or different parameters if you are doing the parameterization. Okay, so all those things you can mention in the TestNG XML file. So you can use the parallel attribute from the TestNG XML file, and you can run the test cases in parallel. And another way is by using the data provider. Okay, so by using the data provider, we are just running the data provider input in a parallel mode. Okay, not the test case, but in the data provider we are providing the multiple data to the single test case multiple times. Okay, so that data we can pass simultaneously to that single test case. Okay, and that test case will run in a parallel mode. So now let's see practically how we can use this parallel attribute from the TestNG XML file. So for demonstration purpose, I have created 2 tests in this package, local test, okay, Amazon test and Flipkart test. So we are simply sending the 2 parameters, browser and URL, from the TestNG XML file. Okay, so here we are using the @parameters attribute for parameterization. So depending upon the values of browser name and URL, we are opening the browser and we are going to that URL. And here we are simply performing some simple operations on the bestseller page of the Amazon. Okay, we are asserting some title here. So here intentionally I am sending some wrong expected title, okay, expected text. So this test is going to fail. Okay, and for the Flipkart test also, we are just opening the browser. We will go to the flipkart.com, and we are going to get the title, and we are just asserting one field on that login pop-up. Okay, so when we run this test, you will understand more. So these are the two simple tests I have added. Okay, and here we are using the before method annotation also. Okay, so every time the new test will start, it will open the fresh browser. Okay, so we have converted this simple main project into the TestNG XML file. For that, you just need to right click on the project and go to TestNG and click on this convert to TestNG. So on this pop-up, just click on the finish. Okay, it will create one TestNG XML file. So I have given the name as sanity suit XML. Okay, so in this we have two tests. Okay, first one is Amazon test and second one is Flipkart test. Okay, and as I already said, we are going to send two parameters. One is browser, which will be Chrome, Firefox. Okay, and value for URL parameter is www.amazon.in. And for the Flipkart test, we are sending the browser as Firefox and URL is www.flipkart.com. Okay, so these are the two tests currently I have in my sanity suit. Okay, so let's say in real time you have 30 tests, and if we run this 30 tests in a sequential manner, it is going to take the around 30 minutes. Okay, for example, so let's try to run this test first sequentially. So you just need to right click on that XML file and run as TestNG suit. So here first test will execute, and then this Flipkart test will execute. So for the first Amazon test, we are sending the Chrome browser. So obviously it is going to open the Chrome. From that, we are going to click on this best seller, and we are asserting this best seller text. Okay, so that is done. And now the Firefox for the Flipkart test. So these tests are running sequentially. So both the tests executed sequentially. So bestseller page test for the Amazon, we are sending the Amazon bestseller one, but it has found the Amazon bestseller. Okay, so this test is going to fail. And for the Flipkart test also, we got the fast result. So now I want to reduce this execution time. So if I run this both the test, Amazon test and Flipkart test in parallel mode, then definitely it is going to reduce our total execution time, right? So for that purpose, we have parallel attribute. So at the suit level, we can use this parallel. Okay, so we can use different values for this parallel attribute. Here we can use the none. Okay, none means you are running the test in the sequential manner only. Okay, then here you can use the false also. Okay, false and none will work in the same way. Both the test will run sequentially. Then here again we can use the tests. Okay, so if you use the test at the suit level, then both the test. Okay, so whatever test you have in this sanity suit. Okay, so this is our sanity suit, right, which is a collection of multiple tests. So whatever test you will have in the sanity suit.xml, all the tests will run in a parallel mode. Okay, then this parameter, okay, this attribute again can have classes. Okay, so whatever classes present in the particular test. Okay, so currently for this test we have one class. Okay, so if we have multiple classes in the same test, okay, so whatever class available in the same test are going to run in a parallel mode. Okay, so currently we have two class, but they are present in the separate test. Okay, so anyhow if we run like this, it will going to run in the sequential manner only. Okay, so whatever classes available in the particular test, those classes, okay, the methods from that classes will going to run in the parallel mode. And here next value is the methods. Okay, so whatever at the test methods you will have in your TestNG classes. Okay, so in Amazon test.java we have one at the test, and in Flipkart test Java we have one at the test. So whatever at the TestNG methods are available in that TestNG classes, all those methods are going to run in the parallel mode. Okay, if you use the parallel equal to methods. Okay, and one more attribute that we need to use. Okay, if you directly use like this, it will not work, because we need to use one more attribute, that is thread count. Okay, thread count is equal to, okay, so you need to provide the value for this thread count more than one. Okay, so if we give parallel equal to test, okay, let's say you have given parallel equal to test, but you have provided a thread count is equal to 1. Okay, that means only one task can be run in a single thread, and single thread will be created. Okay, so even if we have given the parallel equal to test, we have only one thread to complete the task, and that's why both the tests will run in a sequential manner only. Okay, so you need to make sure you are giving thread count equal to more than one value. okay, then only it will consider the value for this parallel equal to test. Okay, otherwise it is not of any use. Let's try to see that. I am giving thread count equal to 1 and parallel equal to test. So if you see, it has started the Chrome browser only. Okay, it has not started the Firefox. Okay, so we have limited this thread count equal to 1. That's why only one task can be run, okay, by the processor at a time. Okay, so need to give this value more than 1. Okay, let me stop it. Now if we run, then both the tests should start simultaneously. Okay, so Chrome driver started successfully and Firefox also launched. Okay, so both the tests are running in parallel mode now. If we have, let's say, 4 tests in this TestNG XML file, and if we set this thread count equal to 2, then only 2 tests will run in a parallel mode. Okay, and next test will wait for one thread to get free. As soon as one thread will be get free from that task, then next test will be executed on that thread. Okay, so both the attributes are very important when we are running the test or methods in a parallel mode. Okay, so you need to make sure you are giving a correct value for this thread count. So by default, TestNG will give you the 5 as a thread count. Okay, so 5 threads can be run simultaneously. Okay, and for parallel equal to test, we have seen whatever test we have in the XML, those tests will going to execute in parallel mode. Okay, and if we change it to classes, so whatever classes available in that specific test are going to run in a parallel mode. So currently we have only one class per test, right? So anyhow it is going to run in a sequential manner only. So first it will execute the Amazon on the Chrome. Okay, that means our first test is getting executed. Okay, in that test we have only one class. Okay, if we have more than one class, those classes, okay, those test cases from that classes will be executed simultaneously. Okay, so as we have only one class per test, it is going to execute those classes sequentially. Okay, so first this test will execute. Okay, whatever methods available from this class will be executed, and then this execution for this test will start, and test case from this class will be executed. So currently for this Amazon test we have two classes. Okay, so both the classes means both the Flipkart and Amazon test should start in parallel mode now. Okay, so that also we will see. I will comment this. Okay, so let's say we have only one test and that test contain two classes. Okay, two Java classes, and in the class we have one @test method. So now if we run, both Chrome and Firefox should start simultaneously. Okay, yeah, so yeah, this time it will execute both the test on the Chrome only, and it will go to the amazon.com only, because for that test I am sending the parameter as Chrome and the URL value is amazon.in. Okay, so both the Amazon test and Flipkart test, this browser and this URL value will be considered, right? So it will not execute the Flipkart test on the Firefox this time. Okay, so these parameters are applicable for all the classes present in the same test. Okay, for both the Java classes these parameters will be considered. Okay, so this is how you can run the classes in a parallel mode. And if I set this value to the methods, now whatever @test methods are available in these classes will be start executing in a parallel mode. So we have in Amazon test we have one @test, and in Flipkart test also we have one @test. So we should have two Chrome browsers. Okay, so it has opened two Chrome browsers simultaneously. Okay, and it has opened this amazon.in in the both browser. Okay, so for that specific TestNG test, it will, okay, TestNG will see how many @test methods it has. Okay, let's say it has 10 @test methods. Okay, so it is going to execute all those test methods in a parallel mode, but this time it will consider this thread count also. Okay, that means only 5 @test method will execute first, and then for the 6th it will wait for one thread to get free, and then next execution will start. So this attribute parallel equal to methods, okay, and parallel equal to classes you can use at the test level also, okay. But if you set this parallel equal to test, you need to use it at the suit level only, okay. So suit is nothing but the collection of the test. That's why if you are using parallel equal to test, that has to be used in the suit level, okay. And if you are using parallel equal to method or classes, that you can use at the test level also, okay, like this. So parallel equal to test, it is not have any meaning, right? So this is the single test, so we need to set either methods or classes. Okay, so both the tests are running in a parallel mode now. So I will take this parallel and thread count at the suit level. So we have executed this test, okay, on the local driver only, okay, on my local machine itself. But we can run this our test on the remote machine also, on the AWS machine or on the Docker containers. Okay, so I have installed Docker in my machine, and we can run all these tests on the Docker containers. Okay, so that also I will show you. So if you want to run the your test on the Selenium grid in Docker, you need to use the Docker Compose YAML file. Okay, so we have already seen this in a detail in the Selenium grid with Docker series. Okay, I will give the link for that playlist in the description. Okay, so we are going to use this Docker Compose YAML file to create our Selenium grid. Okay, so here we are going to create the hub service, okay, using this image, and we will create one Chrome, then Firefox, and Edge service. Okay, so here we will have one hub and 3 node containers. So I will not explain more about this Docker Compose. You can go and watch the videos from that Selenium grid Docker series playlist. Okay, means our hub and nodes will be ready to run our test cases. So before that, we need to start the Docker desktop application here. Okay, so we already have some images in my Docker desktop, and currently there is no containers. Okay, so we need to run this Docker Compose YAML file now. So how to run that? Just go to the directory where your Docker Compose YAML file is available and open PowerShell from that. So we can run the Docker Compose YAML file using this simple Docker command, Docker Compose, okay, -f, and just provide the file name of your Docker Compose YAML file with the extension .yml and provide the up, okay, and -d detach mode. If you press the enter, within a minute it will start all the services. It will start the network first, and in that same network it will start the hub service and node service. Okay, so if you see current running services, we have one hub container, okay, with this ID, and we have 3 node containers. One is Chrome, one Firefox, and one Edge. Okay, and as per that Docker Compose, we have exposed this 7900, which is no VNC port, to 7900. Okay, so that I can access the no VNC service from my local machine. And for Firefox, we have 7901 port number, and for Edge we have 7902. Okay, so we can actually see what exactly happening on that browser from my local machine itself. So now I want to run this Amazon test and Flipkart test on that Selenium grid, okay, in the Docker. So for that purpose, you just need to make few changes. Okay, so in the at the before method, we are using the local driver. Okay, we are setting driver equal to new Chrome driver and new Firefox driver. Okay, but if you want to run your Selenium test case on the remote machine, then you need to use the remote driver WebDriver class. Okay, so here we have this Amazon test 2. So these are the changes we need to do in our setup method. Okay, so here we are going to use this remote WebDriver class. Okay, we are creating the object for this remote WebDriver class, which accepts one URL. So we need to provide the IP or URL of your hub service, okay, where your hub is running. So we are going to provide our all the tests to the hub, and hub will distribute all those tests to the different nodes depending upon the browser type parameter. Okay, so we need to tell that which browser I want to run my test on. Okay, so on the local machine we are directly creating the Chrome driver and Firefox driver. Okay, and that's why it is opening Chrome and Firefox. But while running on the remote machine, there is no mechanism that we can directly provide the browser name, right? So we need to use the capabilities, desired capabilities class. Okay, so in that capabilities dot set a browser name, and you need to provide the browser type as Chrome and browser type as Firefox. Okay, so same condition here we are using. If I pass this browser equal to Chrome from the TestNG XML file, it is going to set the browser type to the Chrome, else it is going to set the browser type to the Firefox. Okay, and this is the URL where my hub is running. Okay, so we have just created our hub and node containers, okay, which is running on my local machine. Okay, so that is the 127.0.0.14445. okay, so we have exposed our hub service on this 4445 on the local machine. Okay, so I can access that service from my browser. So here you can see our Selenium grid is ready with the 3 node, one Mozilla, Chrome, and this Microsoft Edge. Okay, so instead of localhost you can use the IP also. Just need to use this. Okay, so if I want to see what exactly happening when I run my test on the Chrome or Firefox, what exactly happening on the browser, you can directly use the same IP, only port number you need to change. Okay, so you just need to use the port number whatever you have exposed. So for the Chrome I have export 7900. Okay, so this is the no VNC service. So here we need to provide the secret as a password. Okay, and our Firefox will run on the same IP but port number 7901. Okay, cool. So we just need to provide our Selenium test case to the hub, and hub will distribute those test cases depending upon the browser type. Okay, so let's try to run our sanity suite in parallel mode now. So here we have used the parallel equal to test. Okay, so both the tests should run in a parallel mode, and we need to change the Java class now and Flipkart test 2. Okay, okay, we got this local test. Okay, so it is available in the remote test package, right? So we need to change this package. So both the test will be given to the hub, and hub will forward one request to the Mozilla and one request to the Chrome. Okay, so you can see both the session has started. So in the sessions tab you can see one Chrome session has started. Okay, so let's see the execution on the Chrome, and Firefox is also running in a parallel mode. Okay, cool. So both the tests are running in a parallel mode. Okay, so here also from here you can do the live monitoring. Okay, that will also work fine. Okay, or you can use the port number and IP. Okay, so whatever port you have exposed while creating the Selenium grid, that you can use. Okay, so that you can see from the this also. And if I set this parallel equal to none, okay, then it is going to execute this both the test in a sequential manner only. Let's re-execute this. Okay, so it is executing the Amazon test first. Okay, so only one session is running. Now it has started the Flipkart. Okay, so it is important what value you are giving for this parallel. Okay, so parallel equal to none or false, it will work in a sequential manner only. Please do remember this. And if you set this parallel equal to test or methods, but if you set this thread count equal to 1, okay, so then it is going to execute all the test or all the @test method in a sequential manner only. So we need to provide the value for this thread count more than 1. Okay, so we have seen how we can run the test in a parallel mode on the local machine and also on the Docker containers also. Okay, so you just need to create the Selenium grid architecture using the Docker compose YAML file. Okay, so in that file, if you have multiple @test, okay, in a single Java class, then we can run those @test methods in a parallel mode also. Okay, so whatever command we have used for creating the Selenium grid, you can scale the different node services also. Okay, so currently we have only one Chrome, one Firefox, and one Edge. Okay, so we can easily scale these services also. So just need to use the same command. Okay, only here we need to use the scale flag, scale, and give the service name. So my service name is let's say Chrome service equal to 2. Okay, so that means I want two Chrome node containers. Okay, so that whatever @test methods I have in this single Java class, those @test method I will be able to run in a parallel mode. Okay, so that also I will show you. So all the containers are already ready. It will just recreate the Chrome service. So we have two Chrome service. You can see that Chrome service 1 and Chrome service 2. Okay, so it is giving some error that okay, the port number. Okay, so here you need to make sure you are using the different port for each service. So instead of hard coding these values, we will give some dynamic value. Okay, so whatever port available at that time, the Docker will export that port automatically. Okay, so now let me rename the command. Okay, now it has started all the Chrome service and AS service. So all these are already running. So now if you see docker ps, okay, so we have two Chrome containers now, and Docker has exposed whatever port available at that time. So 56990 for the first container, and for second Chrome container 56991. Okay, so if we go to the grid URL now, you can see we have two Chrome browsers now. Okay, so let's try to execute both the @test. So in this Amazon test 2, we have one bestseller page test. Okay, and second @test, where we are just going to print the current URL. Okay, so if we run these methods, okay, so here I will give the let's say 5. Okay, so from this Amazon test 2, both @test methods should start in parallel mode. That means hub will provide one request to this Chrome browser and another request to this Chrome browser. Okay, so let's verify that. Okay, so you can see both the session has started simultaneously. This is the Chrome, this is the second session. Okay, so it is saying concurrency equal to 2. So this is how you can make a use of our Docker containers. Okay, Selenium grid in Docker. You can run the test methods or test available in your suite XML files in a parallel mode. So you can use the Docker Compose YAML file. You can scale the whatever service you have mentioned in your Docker Compose YAML file. Okay, very easily. So make sure you are exposing the dynamic port at the runtime. Okay, so do not provide these hardcode values like this. Okay, if you are scaling the services. Okay, so for more information, please go and watch the videos from the Selenium Grid Docker series. Okay, I have explained all the things in detail in that series. Okay, so that's all for this session, guys. We have seen how we can run the parallel test in TestNG on the local machine and on the Docker containers also. So for this, we have used this parallel attribute which accept false, none, methods, test, and classes values. And you need to make sure thread count value should be greater than 1. Okay, otherwise it is going to run your test irrespective of value of this parallel attribute. Okay, in a sequential manner only. Okay, so provide thread count equal to 2, 3, 5. Okay, and accordingly it will execute the test in a parallel mode. Okay, so definitely it is going to reduce your total execution time for your automation test. So that will definitely help entire team, okay, in SDLC every day. So that is all for this session, guys. Let me know if you have any question on this. Thank you.